Hi everyone and welcome to the Visibility Show. I'm Melissa Groom, your host, and my very special guest today is the beautiful Di Riddell, who is the Confident Speaker's Mentor.
Good, Mel. It's lovely to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Now, Di is the Confident Speaker's Mentor. She is author of 3 books. Her latest book is Speak Out: From Suppression to Expression in 9 Vital Steps. And she also runs her program and masterclass, How to Speak Confidently. So Di, you are doing amazing work in the world with your teaching people how to own their voice and to speak out.
There has never been a time where I think when it's more important for us to step up, show up and be who we are. There is just so much going on today that I think the world is craving not only women, but I think especially women, to stand up and be counted.
Yes.
And if you've got the confidence to be able to do that, then you'll go a long way.
Yeah, so just recently, Di, you attended your MC of an amazing event. So tell us about that.
Last Saturday night, I was MC for the district changeover for Toastmasters for our district. Now, our district is Queensland between Northern Territory and Papua New Guinea. So we had 108 registrants, and it's normally a formal affair in the city, but of course this year with COVID, that wasn't going to happen. So it was a Zoom meeting, a virtual meeting. Lots of planning went into it, and I think the secret was the planning. But if I could ever say that the value of video, if I could ever say how important that was, it really came to the fore on Saturday night, because being called on to be the MC, I was already comfortable in front of the camera. I'd already had 3 months practice on Zoom, even though I'd had minimal practice before, but 3 months fairly concentrated practice since COVID set in. And that set me in store to be able to communicate easily, to be able to look in the camera and smile, to remember to pause. And when you do that eye contact, when you look into the camera, the viewer feels like you're speaking to them. It's taking you to a whole new level of communication and connection. And the evening just ran seamlessly. It was just amazing. What
an absolute honour. Why do you think they chose you? I mean, that's a massive achievement for you.
Well, it was a little surprise, because I've been a Toastmaster for 42 years, and I've been out of top district office for a lot of years now, quite a lot of years, at least 15.
Maybe they've seen you online on video.
Yeah. I've stayed current and I'm out there, but I'm not out there in a public district office. Yes. So it was an honour to be asked. So I think that your value, when you show up, when you speak up, when you give back, people recognise that.
Yes.
And they will ask you, and they trust you. They know that you will do what's asked of you. And it's a great way to demonstrate the skills that you've learned within the organisation. But it's also a way of putting your stamp on an official function.
Yes.
With total professionalism.
That's so wonderful, Di. So your slogan is "Your voice matters." So what brought you to this work? Why is this so important to you? Tell me a little bit about your background and why this is so important for you, this work.
Okay, Mel. The reason that your voice matters is so important to me is that for many years, I didn't have one. I wasn't heard, I wasn't seen, and I wasn't game to squeak. So in my early life, the catalyst for all of this was 2002 and the death of my husband. Dealing with my grief put me back to face things that had happened in my early life. So I had a violent alcoholic dad. I was subdued and abused throughout childhood. At 15, I was a victim of pack rape. A pregnancy and an adoption came out of that, and none of that was pretty in the 1960s. So I felt I was unloved, unwanted, uncared for. And I was told to go nursing and get out of society's way because no decent man would want me. So I did. I went off and became officious and efficient, as you do. And then I did meet a lovely man, got married, had 31 years of beautiful marriage, and losing his support and dealing with my grief is what put me back there. So that's what really started me. And even though I'd been in Toastmasters all of those years, I'd never spoken about my past. I didn't even really know it was still bothering me. But it was sitting there deep, waiting to bubble up at the right time. And I believe that the universe or your higher self brings up stuff when it thinks you're ready to deal with it. And it thought at that time, Di, it's time for you to deal with this. So up it came. And as that came up, I've used my voice to share my story. Not because, oh dear, poor Di, but because I'm a role model and show that no matter what's happened to you, you can still lead a great, productive life. But it's up to you. You have to make that choice. But if you can get your voice out there, if you understand that your voice matters, if you can get to that point, then you've got the opportunity to make your difference in your world, to your community, whatever that may be. And it's just getting wider and wider. And video is just the absolute perfect medium for that to happen. So that's why I'm so passionate about Your Voice Matters, because I think everyone has the right to be seen and to be heard.
And I know you wrote about this, your childhood and your marriage in your first book, Beyond Abuse. I just want to say thank you for sharing your story, because it takes massive courage. We are not, I've heard the saying, we are not our story, but our story does make who we are, you know.
That's right, that's the background and that's what it is. And if I can just throw in there, the first book was my story. The second book, 10 years later, was my story evolved, plus 4 men's women's stories and 4 women's stories. The day that book went live on Amazon, something went off in my head and I said, I'm ready, I am ready to search. And I went looking, and in 2 months, I had found and met the daughter I gave up for adoption 50 years ago.
Wow.
Wow. How's that? And she lives in another suburb in Brisbane, so it's just been absolutely incredible.
Yes.
So we never know, you know, when we speak up, when we speak out, when we allow the stuff that's inside of us to come out, but come out with honesty, authenticity, trust, and realness. Using forgiveness and gratitude. It's not about being bitter. Oh dear, this happened to me. And wasn't it awful? Yeah, well, it was. But we can't put today's values on yesterday's actions. Back in the 60s, that's how society was. So we just lived with it. We can't expect things that happened in the 60s to be like they are today, or we wouldn't have been evolving. So I get a little bit cross about some things that, you know, looking back and playing the blame game. Things have changed. We can't expect what we know today to apply to something that happened 50 years ago or 200 years ago. We can learn from it, we can grow from it, and we can become better people because of it.
Yes. It's a great attitude you've got, and I really just think you are an incredible role model for, you know, men and women. And, you know, I've seen you speak at my events up on stage, and I know it gives others the courage to share their story and think that maybe I have got something of value to offer, you know, and if it's to show other people, yes, that it happened to me too. You know, because I know myself growing up, I was thinking, am I the only one this is happening to? And why me? And then you realize it happens to so many people. You don't feel so alone, but you also then look to them to see, well, what tools did they use to overcome? And, you know, you've just gone from strength to strength through Toastmasters over the last 4 decades, winning international awards. And now you are, you know, from sharing your story and writing your books, you're now teaching others to use their voice and to step up and to speak confidently. So you're doing an amazing job. I'm so proud of you.
Oh, thank you, Mel. And a lot of it's been to do with the video. And I think that's really brought the story to life, because you can read the book, you can do the program. But if you have an opportunity to interact with the writer, the author, the person doing the video, it brings it to life. It puts emotion to the words that you've read.
Yes.
You've been acting on. It brings a whole new level to it. You can see the person, you can relate to them, you can think, oh, that's what she looks like. That's how she behaves. Right. I can understand. Because so many have looked at me and said, you know, mature female, looked like butter wouldn't melt in her mouth, probably never had an issue in her life. You know, we look at people who've got that calm, quiet confidence today, but we don't understand what went on for them to create that. They may not always have been through that. And growing through your issues to become the person that you can be, to be confident. It's not about saying from the rooftops that I am the greatest. It's about having that quiet confidence that people can see. It's an energy thing. You can just feel it. You can look at it and think, oh, I want some of what she's got.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so people can purchase your books from your website, and also you offering a discovery call to have a chat with them about how you can help them to find their voice and speak with confidence.
Yes. So either a message through my website on the contact page, or my details about Riddell is my email, and we'll have other details underneath the video for people to make contact with me. I would love to speak to anyone who's got a story to share, because I will also be doing some interviews. And for women to know their voice matters, they are valued, and what they've got to say is important.
Yes, hear. Well said. Thank you so much, Di, for being our guest today on the Visibility Show, and thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next week on the Visibility Show, and remember to shine bright, because